Headlines of this hour on VTV News. Prime Minister calls for strengthened management of domestic gold market. Vietnam and China border localities to cooperate. And in our world news, UN climate leader issues urgent 2-year deadline to avert climate crisis.
Broadcasting from Hanoi, the capital of Vietnam. VTV News starts right now.
Good afternoon. It is currently 3 p.m. local time, and you're tuning in to 30 minutes of VTV News. I'm Dien with the latest updates. Now, on Thursday, the government office issued Prime Minister Pham Minh Ching's conclusion on solutions to manage the gold market in the future. This includes assigning the State Bank to coordinate with relevant agencies to strictly implement Government Decree 24. Specifically, agencies must closely monitor the development of both domestic and international gold markets to promptly address the widening gap between domestic and international gold bar prices. Additionally, the supply for the production of gold bars and gold accessories must be managed and operated strictly and effectively, in line with market developments. These solutions aim to ensure the gold market operates safely, stably, transparently, and effectively without affecting exchange rates or state foreign exchange reserves. They also aim to prevent profiteering, speculation, manipulation, or price pushing. During an official visit to China, National Assembly Chairman Nguyen attended a legal policy forum in Yunnan province aimed at promoting Vietnam-China trade and investment cooperation. The event attracted participation from over 450 businesses from both countries, providing a platform to explore business opportunities, share new investment trends, and propose solutions to reform the investment environment in each country. Speaking at the forum, the National Assembly chairman proposed strengthening cooperation in the border gate economy and other fields. He also suggested the two sides agreed on a railway connection plan to enhance coordination between the 4 Vietnamese provinces sharing a border with China's Yunnan province. The National Assembly chairman affirmed Vietnam's commitment to creating favorable conditions to realize the commitments within the Vietnam-China Comprehensive Strategic Partnership, aiming for a more sustainable long-term relationship between the two countries. In the Prime Minister's announcement regarding solutions for managing the gold market, an emphasis was placed on urgent interventions to address the significant gap between domestic and international gold bar prices. Ensuring the stability and safety of the gold market and guaranteeing the common interests of the country and its citizens are top priorities. More in the following.
The gap between domestic and international prices remains significant, with domestic gold rings being $220 to $260 per tael higher, and the price of domestic gold bars exceeding the international price by around $520. Therefore, the Prime Minister's request to immediately and effectively address the significant price difference between domestic and international gold bars is considered necessary.
Other economic activities are operating smoothly, but fluctuations in gold prices can cause instability. Therefore, the Prime Minister's urge to stabilize the gold market timely and effectively is accurate at this point.
The Prime Minister also emphasized the mandatory issuance of e-invoices for gold transactions to enhance transparency and operational efficiency. He also demanded the immediate revocation of operating licenses for businesses that do not strictly adhere to the law.
We support the need for gold market transparency. We've also strictly complied with these regulations in recent times.
If amending Decree 24 on gold market management takes time according to the law, the State Bank needs to issue clear messages regarding future solutions to narrow the gap between domestic and international gold bar prices, ensuring proper gold market management.
In response to the Prime Minister's request, the General Department of Market Surveillance is instructing local departments to intensify their inspections, supervision, and handling of legal violations. These violations include cross-border gold smuggling, profiteering, and speculation that leads to hoarding gold and driving up prices.
At the conference Developing a New Economy taking place in Ho Chi Minh City, businesses discussed many issues. These included the business environment, adaptation to climate change, methods to limit greenhouse gas emissions from production, reducing negative impacts on the environment, and fostering green growth and sustainable development. With this orientation, many businesses have shared their breakthrough strategies for ensuring the three pillars of sustainable development, which are economic growth, community and social development, and environmental protection. Vietnam is striving to reduce carbon emissions in production, as this endeavor will enable the country to achieve its net zero commitment by 2050. Currently, rice production in Vietnam emits greenhouse gases at a high rate. The impact from fertilizers and byproducts accounts for about 30% of this sector's carbon footprint. To help Vietnam boost proper fertilizer use, a 4-year project led by the U.S. Department of Agriculture in coordination with the Ministry of Agriculture and Rural Development of Vietnam and the International Rice Research Institute will be carried out in numerous localities.
The fertilizer right project's activities are based on the 4 rights of nutrition management, namely the right sorts, right rate, right place, and right time. The project experts will help farmers apply advanced technology and precision agricultural practices, including optimized fertilizer use in rice cultivation, in order to replicate successful experiences nationwide.
The soil nutrition map is actually a part of what we were just talking about in terms of identifying techniques and methodologies that will allow Vietnamese farmers to use fertilizer better.
The United States is the second largest importer of agricultural products from Vietnam. Therefore, through this project, it will provide technical support and training for Vietnamese rice growers to improve their livelihoods. The Ministry of Agriculture and Rural Development also aims to establish a rice value chain that reduces emissions, ensures high quality, and enhances production efficiency. This approach not only improves farmers' income, but also guarantees national food security.
Coupling Vietnam's traditional experience with technical solutions, we will leverage new technologies to optimize the workforce and input materials, thereby elevating the value of domestic rice products.
The project is expected to be carried out in 6 provinces in the Red River Delta and Mekong Delta, including Hải Dương, Thái Bình, Nam Định, Cần Thơ, Đồng Tháp, and Sóc Trăng provinces. It is estimated to help reduce approximately 56,000 tons of carbon dioxide emissions annually compared to previous levels. Simultaneously, the fertility of rice land will improve due to alternatives to chemical fertilizers.
With strong measures to combat illegal, unreported, and unregulated or IUU fishing, no further violations have been discovered in localities. Vietnam has until June to enhance the inspection of seafood catches at fishing ports. This period is critical for Vietnam to remove its seafood yellow card issued by the European Commission. Our next report is from the coastal province of Bình Định.
This factory primarily uses imported aquatic raw materials for processing and exporting, accounting for 70% of its total input. In addition to importing salmon from Japan, this business also uses various types of fish from the UK and Turkey. For over the past 3 years, exporters have been required to fulfill a catch certificate before shipping goods to this manufacturer. The business also retrieves the records of the fish batch from the websites of exporting countries by scanning the QR code on the certificate. After more than 6 years of efforts to remove the yellow card, the fight against illegally caught seafood has been strengthened.
Before importing the shipment from foreign exporters,
We must ensure that the origins of the imported goods are legal and certified by the governments of the exporting countries. A storage warehouse will separate imported aquatic materials from seafood caught in Vietnam. All batches of raw materials are coded, which makes traceability easier.
Dien province is home to 3 enterprises that specialize in exporting tuna and swordfish, utilizing both local and foreign raw materials. To prevent seafood fraud, often referred to as fish laundering, and in line with the EC's recommendations, strict control measures are enforced at fishing ports.
When a fishing boat arrives at the port, the seafood catch undergoes an origin verification process. We impose stringent measures to manage traceability. In addition, we have established inspection teams to check if businesses are using certified seafood products in accordance with the law.
Since January of this year, 28 provinces have started piloting an electronic seafood traceability system. So far, accounts have been issued to nearly 80,000 fishing vessels, 147 fishing ports, 172 border guard stations, and 89 processing factories. Moving forward, the unified and synchronous use of this system will ensure data consistency and increase transparency regarding the origins of aquatic raw materials.
Before we move on, let's have a look at the exchange rate between the Vietnam đồng and some world currencies in today's market. Coming up next on VTV News, Hanoi launches air quality management plan. And later on, Khmer communities celebrate Churcham Festival. Welcome back to VTV News Live. Now, firefighting forces will remain on duty in the Maliluca forest area of Farm 402, Trần Văn Thời District, Cà Mau Province, to quickly respond to potential forest fires. A Maliluca forest fire, which started 2 days ago and was only extinguished on Thursday, has already damaged dozens of hectares of forest. Given the current intense heat and strong winds, there is a risk of the fire flaring up again at any time. Consequently, the firefighting force must stay vigilant and be acutely aware of fire risks. The Mekong Delta region is experiencing a serious drought due to climate change and prolonged heat. Severe saline intrusion into the fields has left many households short of fresh water. To help the local people in Bến Tre province overcome this water shortage for their daily lives, the Ministry of Public Security has directed local police stations to promptly provide fresh water to the residents.
25,000 liters of fresh water for domestic use and 50 water containers have been provided free of charge to people in Binh Thắng Commune, Binh Đại District. This activity was coordinated between the Police Department of Fire Prevention, Fighting and Rescue and the Bến Tre Water Supply and Sewerage Company.
The drought and saltwater intrusion have been ongoing for 2 months now. I'm very happy to receive fresh water directly in our commune from the police authority.
I feel very happy to participate in this water providing activity for the local people, fulfilling my duty as a police officer.
This water distribution session is the first of many in the coming days that will provide fresh water to the locals.
Today, the unit mobilized a fire engine, 2 water tankers, and 11 officers and soldiers to support people from Binh Thắng Commune. In the coming days, we will continue to coordinate with relevant departments, branches, and local authorities to arrange forces and vehicles for transporting water to local people.
On the same afternoon, the Traffic Police Department of Bến Tre Provincial Police coordinated with the Youth and Women's Department of the Provincial Police to provide fresh water to people in Lộc Thuận Commune, Bình Đại District. These activities have partially supported local people in overcoming the shortage of fresh water.
Hanoi is implementing an air quality control plan in an effort to reduce pollution in the city. The plan involves creating low-emission zones that aim to control emissions from traffic, relocating heavily polluting establishments out of the inner city area, increasing watering and cleaning of roads, and managing the burning of straw and agricultural byproducts. The city will also develop an air pollution early warning system for the people. Transportation is the largest source of air pollution in Hanoi, accounting for more than 50 to 70%, followed by industrial production, which accounts for 14 to 23%. A national-level symposium on the Dien Bien Phu victory was held on Thursday in Dien Bien province, reviewing the background and the international, regional, and domestic situation at the time of the battle. The event was co-organized by the Ministry of National Defense, the Party Central Committee's Commission for Information and Education, the Ministry of Public Security, the Ho Chi Minh National Academy of Politics, and Dien Bien authorities.
More than 100 research papers highlighting strategic visions and coherent policies of the Central Committee under the leadership of President Ho Chi Minh during the Battle of Dien Bien Phu were on display. The research papers also look into joint efforts and great contributions made by the Vietnamese people and soldiers in times of war.
Civilians contributed significantly to the glorious victory of Dien Bien soldiers. The late General Nguyen highly praised logistics activities in which civilians used bicycles to bring military supplies to the front line. Civilian support was key to the victory.
The police carried out their duties around the clock to ensure the safety of President Ho Chi Minh and other high-ranking officials. Tens of thousands of civilians provided huge support for the military. Their smart handling of logistics did not get spotted by the enemy.
Political factors, practical military tactics, strong determination, and great perseverance are considered key drivers of the Dien Bien Phu victory.
The leaders conducted the biggest military deployment in Vietnam's history. The counterattack began with a cannonade and ended in a major victory made up of the Vietnamese people's optimism as they used music to overcome fears and inspire one another on the battlefield. To stay committed to their goals, Dien Bien soldiers engraved their motto "Fight to Win" on the stocks of their guns or embroidered the motto on their hats.
Numerous historical lessons were drawn from the Battle of Dien Bien Phu. These lessons can provide valuable insights into the present and future, bringing practical values to national construction and defense in peacetime.
We should learn from battle experiences and use these brilliant tactics to build strong armed forces and enhance the country's military capabilities. Some things we can learn from the past include combat training, military operations planning, and goal management.
The symposium offers many valuable insights into the Battle of Dien Bien Phu, a major landmark in the history of the 20th century and a symbol of national construction and defense. The victory represents the strong solidarity and patriotism of the Vietnamese people, as well as the maturity of the Vietnamese People's Army.
The Khmer community in Bac Lieu province is eagerly preparing for the traditional Churcham festival following a successful harvest season. Over the years, the living conditions of the Khmer people in Bac Lieu have significantly improved due to state-supported projects focusing on production development, healthcare, education, and transport infrastructure. Out of the 17,000 Khmer households in the region, only 800 remained impoverished, accounting for about 4% of the total number of poor households in the province. Every year in mid-April, the Bana people of Nap village, Dak Dua district, Gia Lai province, conducted a rain-praying ceremony. This typical agricultural ritual takes place during the peak of the dry season in the Central Highlands. Through this ceremony, the locals express their wishes for favorable weather, abundant crops, and a prosperous, happy life for the coming year.
The Banar people have gathered at the water source of Hanap village since early morning. They meticulously prepare offerings, which include pork, chicken, and wine. The village elders conduct the rain worship ceremony, praying to the gods for fair weather and abundant crops for all the villagers.
We pray to the gods for rain so that the villagers can grow wheat, rice, and coffee. We also pray for good health for all villagers.
The Banar people hold the belief that water is the source of life. Consequently, the rain praying ceremony serves as an important traditional ritual in their cultivation practices and daily life. Reenacting this festival not only fosters community solidarity, but also upholds the traditional cultural values of the Bana people in Zalai province.
We annually hold the rain praying ceremony for the villagers' 6-month crops. Rain comes so we can grow rice and coffee trees.
Following the ceremony, the villagers eagerly share their products and gather fresh water from the source. The festival serves as their medium to express hopes for a prosperous life and a thriving economy.
Coming up next in our world news, UN climate leader issues urgent 2-year deadline to avert climate crisis. And later on, the US, Japan, and the Philippines hold the first trilateral summit. Moving on to our world news, governments, business leaders, and development banks have 2 years to act to avert far worse climate change, according to the UN's climate chief on Wednesday. The United Nations Executive Climate Secretary Simon Steele warned that global warming is slipping down politicians' agendas. He called for urgent action and more financial aid, not just loans from various groups like banks, the International Maritime Organization, and the group of 20 leading economic powers. These countries are responsible for 80% of the world's heat-trapping emissions. The main task for this year's UN climate negotiations is for countries to agree on a new target for climate finance to support developing countries struggling to invest in shifting away from fossil fuels and fighting climate change. The first trilateral summit among the US, Japan, and the Philippines took place at the White House on Thursday. The leaders of all 3 countries indicated that more meetings will follow in the future. U.S. President Joe Biden, along with Japanese Prime Minister Kishida Fumio and Philippine President Ferdinand Marcos Jr., chaired the summit. Biden asserted that the U.S. defense commitment to its specific allies was ironclad. The 3 countries plan to discuss creating a humanitarian assistance and disaster relief hub at one or more of the 9 Philippine military bases that the U.S. can access. Furthermore, President Biden announced the launch of a new economic corridor. The Philippine president underlined the summit's primary objective of enhancing economic relations among the 3 countries. Inflation is easing faster than expected, but it has not been fully defeated, according to International Monetary Fund Chief Kristalina Georgieva on Thursday. Headline inflation for advanced economies was 2.3% in the final quarter of 2023, down from 9.5% just 18 months ago. This downward trend is expected to continue in 2024. This would create conditions for central banks in major advanced economies to begin cutting rates in the second half of the year, although the pace and timing would vary. The International Monetary Fund chief noted that premature easing could lead to new inflation surprises that may even necessitate further monetary tightening. On the other hand, delaying too long could dampen economic activity. She urged central bankers to carefully calibrate their decisions on cutting interest rates based on incoming data. Researchers in Germany have successfully developed a microbot that could pave the way for new treatment methods for patients battling cancer or other diseases. The microbot is said to be the first of its kind, capable of navigating through a cell network and stimulating individual cells in a targeted manner. More to follow.
These tiny robots, half the width of a human hair, are made from seaweed and are about the same size as human cells. They have the same soft consistency as cells. By incorporating nanomaterials, the microrobots can be controlled wirelessly.
We're using these microrobots to build tissues under synthetic conditions. And the whole point of this is to, in the future, then repair damaged tissue or organs at a really patient basis. I'm sort of imagining our microrobots really picking and placing very specific types of cells in a very specific type of architecture so that we can really tailor that tissue to the patient's needs.
The team has found a way to produce millions of these microbots in minutes. These tiny robots are controlled by a laser.
With a laser, we can heat certain areas of the robot. Then, when we point the laser in the direction of the robot, we see that it starts to move. And so, we can then move it within the cell clusters and move it to other locations and then look at several cells in different ways.
I'm interested in just finding out fundamentally what ticks the cancer cells. So how can we actually manipulate their behavior? That's what I'm trying to find out.
While this technology has not immediately benefited cancer patients, it is anticipated to assist bioengineers and ongoing pharmaceutical research.
Before we say goodbye, let's have a look at the weather forecast. And that is all that we have this hour on VTV News. To rewatch our program, you can visit our website or YouTube channel or download a mobile app, VTVgo, for more. Thank you for watching, and goodbye for now.